Hi, my name is Josie and welcome to my channel. Today we are going to be talking about a relatively new brand to Ulta called Makeup Revolution. And I'll admit, when I first saw it in the store, I was hesitant to try it because everything was so cheap. And when I say cheap, I mean all of their lip products are $5 to $6, even including liquid lipsticks, and all of their eyeshadow palettes are $10 to $15, as well as their face palettes, which they have concealer palettes, bronzer palettes, blush, color corrector, eyeshadow, highlight. They have everything. So I was a little hesitant to try the brand, and then I saw actually Tati from Glam Life Guru cover the brand, and I thought, okay, I gotta try these. So the first one that I picked up, it was actually the Vivid Baked Highlighter, and I got the shade Golden Lights. I thought it would work for me because it's a really, really pale, almost white with some golden reflect in it. And I gotta tell you, this is an extreme highlighter. It is not one that I use every day. That was a tiny little bit and it comes off so pigmented, but I love it and I've recommended it to a couple of my friends who are also pale and they all seem to enjoy it as well. Out of all the products, I will say that that highlighter is the most powdery of everything else. The eyeshadows and everything else has a more creamy texture. So I actually picked up a couple of these palettes a while ago, about a month and a half. And out of everything that I've tried, I like this one the best. It is called the Highlighter Palette in Radiance. They have a second one they came out with called Beyond Radiance, and I would recommend that one if you're a cooler skin tone or just a little bit darker, because the colors in there are darker as well as geared more towards the cool tones, where this one is definitely for us warm toned girls. This one right here is really beautiful. For me, it's a little bit too dark as a highlighter unless I have self-tanner. My favorite is this one in the middle, and then my second favorite, obviously, there are only three, is this one on the end. And I'll tell you, this is basically a dupe for the Hourglass palette. It gives you that exact same glow from within look that I think a lot of us are going for. And I also top it off with a second highlighter, which is nice as well. But for these powder ones, I recommend, this is actually an e.l.f. brush. It's their tapered brush. And this works better for the powder highlight. I have a different highlight that was in the blush one that I have on top of it. And that one I recommend a fan brush for. But as I said before, that's my favorite product that they have. That is one I definitely know I'll be repurchasing. And it's amazing because every time I wear it, I swear, I get so many compliments, not on my makeup, but on my skin, because it just gives you a beautiful, natural glow. The next thing that we're going to talk about is this Ultra Blush palette. And this palette has that highlight shade I was talking about. It's a beautiful vanilla, I would say, highlight. It's very, very bright and pigmented, if you can see it right on the top of my cheekbones right there. It gives you a powerful highlight, but it's really nice for people who are paler if you want an extreme highlight, because it's not as dark as the other highlighters I typically use. It doesn't give you any of that white glow, which some of them do. Some of my Physicians Formula and stuff look very white. This doesn't look white at all. It looks like skin, but really powerful highlight. So I love that product. The rest of the blushes are great, but I'm not a huge blush fan. These four right here are the baked marbled blushes, and then on this side we have two matte ones. They're nice, but the shades are just average. I would say that the shimmers are the better products in this palette. So again, this is the Golden Sugar 2 Rose Gold palette. That's why I picked it up, because I thought the name was catchy, but it was a great surprise. The next one that we are going to talk about is this one. It is called the Flawless palette. It comes with 32 eyeshadows, and they're all pretty natural toned. I would say this one is a pretty good example of how this makeup is different from others. All of the shimmers have this incredible texture that's very, very creamy, and at first when I dipped my brush in it, I was like, oh my gosh, I don't like this at all. But once I use my fingertips for it, it comes off way better. So the mattes are more of a powdery, and those you can use a blush or a brush for, but the shimmer shades definitely work better with your fingertip. And the great thing about the eyeshadows is all of the colors that they come in, not all of them, but most of them are extremely unique shades. I can give you an example with the Mermaid palette. I mean, these shades are one of a kind. My favorite is actually this light brown down here. It looks like it's just going to be an average brown, but it comes off as this amazing light brown color, almost with this chocolate tone. And I love popping it right here at the edge of my eye, and it gives a lot of depth but not a lot of darkness, which is nice. So it keeps your eye bright, but it's interesting. You'll have to try it. And I'm actually wearing this eyeshadow palette today on my eyelids. I chose to do a neutral look with this to show you that you don't have to be afraid of this palette. It's got a bunch of bright colors, but besides that, well, I shouldn't say besides that. It has a bunch of bright colors, but it's still a very usable everyday palette, which you're probably thinking, what are you talking about? But you can make a neutral look and then add a pop of color and it looks amazing. Or if you just want to go all out and have color, you know, go ahead and do it. And the other thing that I love about this, which, you know, is dumb, but that's okay, is the packaging that it comes in. It's this bright blue, and I immediately gravitated towards it and was like, I gotta have that. So I love this palette. I've been using it really frequently. And our next palette is one I actually just picked up. It's called the Affirmation palette. And when I was looking online at Makeup Revolution, this was one of the highest rated ones at Ulta. When I first bought some of these, none of these had even reviews, so I just bought what I thought looked nice. But this one was really high rated, and I can see why. It's got a lot of neutrals, but unlike some of the other palettes, it does have some cooler tones, like our purple and silver, and then we have all these sort of taupey grays over here. So I'll be interested to see how this palette works out, but the colors are to die for. The last eyeshadow palette we're going to talk about is the Fortune Favors the Brave palette. It is actually a collaboration with British beauty blogger, and I will say I really love the packaging for everything else. The shiny plastic, it makes it feel more expensive than it is, and it has a nice weight to it, and everything has a really good mirror on it, which is crazy for how cheap it is. But this one, it just feels cheaper for some reason. I don't really like the gold packaging. And I picked this one up not only because it was something different and it was a collaboration, but also it had a lot of the baked eyeshadows, as you can see, these marbled ones, which I think will be unique because a lot of their baked products are a little bit better than their regular. So I'm excited to try these out, and also I just love these unique shades. She did a great job picking these out, so I'm excited to try this one. And now we will talk about the bronzer palette. This one is called All About Bronzed, and it has 8 shades, 2 of which are marbled, and then we have some matte and a shimmer in here. I actually really like the shimmer one. I think it makes your face look bronzed but not too shimmery. It just adds a little bit of a sheen, like you've been outside. And the matte colors are great. It's really nice how they have this really light shade right here. I've actually been using that to contour my nose because I think sometimes if you use a really warm tone or something that's really dark, it'll look muddy, but this actually does a great job, and it's a very subtle contour. So I know it's a bronzer palette, but I've been using that one for contour, and it's been working great. I'm wearing this as my bronzer today as well, and it's really nice if you blend it out. It adds a really natural look, and this one was only, I think, $10 or $15. All of the palettes are $10 or $15. And our last palette we're going to talk about, I actually picked up today as well. It's called the Blush palette. And this comes in 2 other kinds with this see-through, and it has one where all of these they're called the Melteds, and they're all cream blushes, and then there was another one of just all marbled blushes, but I picked this one up because I love that highlight shade so much in my other blush palette. I saw these 4 marbled ones right here, and I knew I had to have it to try them as highlights. And then actually these matte blushes right here are beautiful. It's got kind of everything you need. The peach tone, the mauve-ish, the baby pink, and the dark pink that, you know, it's a standard blush palette, but those highlights really make it something extra. And again, only $10. So to recap Makeup Revolution as a brand, I would give it a huge 2 thumbs up. Everything that I got, I would recommend to someone. They are great products. They have a unique formula. They are super inexpensive. And to top it all off, there's a really unique palette. So we have our entire blush palette. We have a palette where a bronzer palette where it's got matte, marbled, and shimmer. It's just, they're doing something for the drugstore that we have not had previously. Really inexpensive prices, but amazing product. So next time you're at Ulta, I definitely recommend you pick up a couple of things. You may not have to get all of the palettes, but definitely pick up a couple of items and you will be impressed. So that is our video for the day. I hope you liked it. If you have any questions or comments for the brand or any recommendations for the next video, just go ahead and comment below. Bye guys!